Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Is it finally time for me to record? It looks like it. It might be. Oh my gosh. So, welcome to a safe space with me, your homegirl Aisha, as most of you know me. And I am prayerful that my message comes across this morning. So, it is Wednesday. I am on my way to work. I am using my new little gadget that I have in my car so I don't have to hold on to my phone and record at the same time. So thank you, LaShawna, for saying, girl, go get that. It's $5. I was like, booyah. And I love it. It's great. So this morning, my goal is to talk about cycles, but I think what I'm really going to talk about is being in places that we don't belong. Okay, so 2016, maybe 2015, it might have been 16, Solange dropped A Seat at the Table. Now, of all my albums of all time, that is still one of my favorite jams. I will rock that thing till the wheels fall off. My girl Solange, shout out to her and the dissolution of her marriage. That really breaks my heart because I truly feel like they both are blessed souls. So they'll get it together. But that album, out of control. And The Seat at the Table was, in my honest opinion, because in 2016 I was going through a little bit of a breakthrough myself, was finally getting to where you felt you belonged. And a lot of times we find ourselves in spaces, in places, with people, in relationship, in all kinds of situations that we don't belong. And in those situations, we find ourselves at our most uncomfortable. But because that situation looks like it's supposed to look, we stay there when it's not supposed to be there. What is a term that I use with a friend of mine? Everything that looks good on paper ain't good. And we laugh and joke about that, but it's true. Everything that looks good on paper isn't necessarily correct. So I'm having a tough issue, and the issue's not of my own, but it is of my own because it's with a loved one. And I am trying my hardest to break through to this person because I'm on the outside looking in, and the experiences that I've had in life, I try to give words of wisdom and encouragement that you can hear because I watch people before I approach them, because sometimes my approach can be a little off, but a lot of times my approach is pretty easy. And I can see it. I know the background. I know how this person was brought up. I know what this person saw in their house. So in their mind, this is normal. And as somebody that was brought up in a similar household and saw this, but was able to find counsel with other people that were wiser, and well as people that I had to pay deductibles and co-pays and co-insurances to, I realized I lived in a state of dysfunction, and dysfunction is no good. It's not worth it. It's not worth your sanity. It's not worth your mental space. It's not worth all of that. So when I realized that we were living in a state of dysfunction and I didn't have to live in a state of dysfunction, I bowed out gracefully. You don't have to stay in that because that's all you know. You can move to more comfortable situations. You don't have to stay with a person at a job, with different family members. You don't have to stay in any of those situations if they're not correct for you to be there. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to try to justify it. You don't have to try to make it look good. You don't have to butt it to death. You don't have to, well, we have kids and you don't have to do any of that. If that situation is screwed up, you don't need to be there, because everything that you're trying to justify it for is feeling the effects of it too. So in these cycles, see, I was going to pull it to cycle. I was going to cycle it right to cycle. In these cycles, we find ourselves becoming more and more and more unhappy until we become someone that's not who we are. And then the next thing we know, we're angry. And you know what anger turns into? It turns into bitterness. And bitterness turns into regret. And then you're living your life full of anger, bitterness, and regret. All because you as a person had the option to pull out of this cycle and come away from a place you did not belong. There's this meme that goes around, and it's a head of garlic. So anybody that uses garlic a lot, you know, you can buy jar garlic, you can buy fresh garlic, you can buy it in its full head. And the head of garlic has all these little cloves. And so when you peel garlic, you chop the bottom off, and then you begin to pull the cloves as necessary. And it's this picture of this meme shows this head of garlic, and there's one clove removed, and then there's a tangerine or mandarin orange stuck in its place, and it says, just because you fit here doesn't mean you belong. And when I saw that, I was like, dang. I know it's very simple, but just because they're the same size and they fit in the same area, it doesn't mean the sweetness and the citrusness of that orange fit where that garlic's bitter, zesty flavor was. So we have to learn that even if we do fit in, it doesn't mean that we belong in that situation. And we have to pull ourselves out of these cycles that are not meant for us to be in. Because guess what? A cycle is never ending until you step out of it. You don't have to be there. You don't have to be a part of this dysfunction. You don't have to be a part of this mess. You don't have to live in these generational curses that cause us the angerness, the bitterness, the resentment, the hurt, the despair, to the feeling of being stuck, the feeling of being lost out here in the world. Because guess who's lost out there with us? Our kids are lost out there with us. Do you know how hard it is to come back from something like that when you're sitting and you have been hurt for so long, but you don't know any different, and then you become so scared of stepping out of that mess, you find yourself sitting in that mess even when you're uncomfortable. So now you've gotten comfortable being uncomfortable, because now you want to just stay in it because you don't know what else is out there. But there is happiness out there. There is satisfaction out there. There's fulfillment out there. There is you feeling better out there. That's you feeling yourself again out there. All you have to do is stop that cycle and step out of it. You don't have to stay in it. So now I finally recorded my video for the morning. I feel good now. I'm back at it again. Last night I was so sick. I don't know what happened. I think I had something funky at lunch. I don't know. But I sat and was talking with Jacelyn, and she was like, Mommy, you don't look good. And the next thing I know, I was like, So I was sick all night last night. But this morning I woke up feeling better. And I said, you know what, Father, it's time to record this video. And he said, it's time because you now have what you need to say. So guys, if you find yourself stuck in a cycle, and I am not going to sit here and act like I'm not. I was looking at my, what do they call it? My journal from 2015. Now, mind you, it's almost 2020, and I'm not aging a bit. My hair changes, but I still only have 2 gray hairs. I'm still stuck in the same cycle of 3 things that elude me. And I said, Father, you know, it's time for breakthrough. And he said, well, what are you going to do that? So it's time. It's time for me to break my own cycle. I need an accountability partner, you know, for this weight loss. The other 2 things, I might need an accountability partner for the other 2 things too, but one of them I just feel like I don't know. So, you know, get at me. We'll talk. You can find me on A Safe Space on YouTube.com. Like, share, and subscribe to Elisa White on YouTube.com. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I did not know how this video was going to come out. I still am very excited, but it is here now. We are finally done. It is recorded. I love you all. Reach out to me. Be blessed. I love you. Bye.